It was very difficult because when someone's raising your child on the outside, you're missing out on that. It hurts. I think that is the most painful part of prison, is the children. It's painful for your own children to watch that, and it's painful to watch all the women around you struggle and hurt. You can't make up for lost time, but I'm still restoring some of those relationship things. My daughter still asks my mom or me or whoever, is someone picking me up from school today? Not that no one ever didn't pick her up from school, but I think there's still that abandonment issue. Like one day her mom was gone, you know? And I think that still is rooted deep in her, you know? And I don't know if we can ever completely heal that for her, but we can certainly try. And we can certainly reassure her and build on that forever and make her feel loved and protected and safe and secure the best we can.
I always kept in contact with my kids while I was incarcerated. I wrote them every week. I sent them a card every week. Later on, after I had been in there a while, I was able to talk to them on the phone. So that really helped to keep that line of communication open and to rebuild that trust with them and let them know that things were going to be different, you know, whenever I came home, and that they would have their mom back. I mean, obviously, whenever you hear about somebody going to prison and them finding God or getting a better relationship with God, the first thing you think of is, oh, that's just jailhouse religion. You know, it's gonna change, and it may be like this for a while, but they're gonna resort back to their old ways, you know, and that's what's in everybody's mind. So they're always kind of hesitant to trust you and believe that you're sincere about the change in your life and the changes that you're gonna make, and it takes time for you to prove that.
My mom basically raised my kids, you know. She's the one that bought their school clothes. She's the one that put braces on their teeth, you know. She's the one that took them to church. I didn't do any of that. My mother was so faithful. She came to see me every month for 5.5 years. And I couldn't hurt her anymore. So I kept good on my promises this time, you know. I got out of prison one time, or not prison, but jail, and it was like, so you're going out tonight? Here's all those letters you wrote me, you know? And I still walked away, but I really changed this time.
My mom was always there for me, even when I was out there doing the thing. And when I was in prison, she wrote me the whole time. She sent me money in the beginning. She didn't have money. That's totally fine. But when I got out, she didn't trust me. And I told her all these great things that I had learned and that I was going to do, and that God loved me, and I just wanted to love her, and she was very leery. It's been 5 years now, and she is trusting me, and she comes to me for advice, and she never spoke about God before when I was young. Now she'll always tell me, Amanda, what would God say right now? So I know that I'm planting seeds in her, and she's letting me love her, and that's amazing.
My relationship with my family, with my mom, because my dad has passed away, we didn't have a close relationship. It just was cordial, out of respect. You know, okay, you're my mom. Okay, I hear you. That don't mean I have to do it. Yes, I had some attitude issues. I admit, I'm not in denial. I'm not going to justify it. I'm being honest and truthful. But that's all changed. Now that I have given my life to the Lord, my whole attitude has changed completely. And so I had to repent and ask for forgiveness. And so now my relationship with my brothers and sisters and my mom is incredible. We have this closeness, this bondness, and what an opportunity, because that was like, to me, that was another door opening where God was moving in my family. And the message that I got from God was that He was going to use me to plant seeds with my family to get closer to God.
When I was in prison, I used to get letters from my children. And my children kept saying to me, they miss me, they miss me. And then one letter came in, which really was a real touching letter. And it came in and said, Mom, we don't want money. We don't want all of those things that you was trying to get from us. And you cannot buy our love. We just want you. We want you to be here. And when When I got that letter, I started asking God, could he help me? Would he change me? Would he show me, the way to be a real mom to my children? That's when God stepped in. God stepped in, because where he see I couldn't do it, he stepped in, and because I asked for it. I'm asking that you would just live the way God is leading you to live. And if you are living right, I'm telling you, God would change them children the same way he changed you, because he's no respecter person. Do not push your beliefs on your children. Do not tell them that they are living a wrong life. Just live it, and when you live it, they're gonna see it, and they're gonna want it.
The process of restoring my relationship with my children was difficult. I was the soccer mom. I was the mom that all the kids came to the house. And so when everything happened and I lost their trust and I lost their, respect, it hurt. They were very disappointed in me. 2 of mine hated me and didn't even want to talk to me. One of my daughters wouldn't speak to me the entire time I was incarcerated. I didn't get very many visits. My son could not stand to see me locked up, so he came one time and that was it. He said, Mom, I can't do it. So to go from being the soccer mom, the mom who, my kids would come pile up in bed with me and talk to me about anything and everything, to my kids just hating me was very difficult. So, I made up my mind that when I got home, I was going to repair those relationships, and I knew the way to repair those relationships was to prove myself, to show my children that I had learned from my mistakes, and to show my children that I loved them unconditionally and that I was going to be there for them and that I wasn't going to do anything that would take me away from them again. Just in the last 4 or 5 months, my oldest daughter, who really hated me because of everything that had happened, has since really come around. And again, I'll tell people that are incarcerated and that have gone through losing that relationship with their children, don't give up. But the main thing is show them when you get out that you're not the person that went in and you're not going to leave them again. I think that's the biggest fear for children who have parents that are incarcerated, and so they're afraid to develop that relationship again. They're afraid to develop that attachment. And so we have to prove to them that we're not, that we are going to stay out and we're going to, be a different person and we're going to be stable and we're going to be there for them.
So while I was in prison, I had lost, I didn't have a visit or anything for my children, but I did want to work on that relationship. They already didn't know that I was their mom. They called me Nana, and it was a very hard time, but I dealt with that. So at one point, I told my mother-in-law, I was like, look, I know we're doing this through the mail, but I will pay for the minutes. You don't have to pay anything. All you have to do is get the phone registered. So eventually she got the phone registered, and I was able to start calling them, and I made it to where I could call them every weekend. So I started calling and building a relationship that way through the phone. Now that I'm where I am today, I go up there every other weekend. I stay with them for 3 days at a time, and they know I'm their mother, and they want me to be around more. They love me, and so it's great. It's like I actually have a relationship with them now, and it's something that I didn't have before. And I know it's all because God changed my heart. He changed everything about me, and it's because I let Him. I couldn't do it without letting Him. So I'm very thankful. I'm very glad with the way things are. It's a process. It's slow, and sometimes it's not as fast as I want it to be, but it's there. It's a work in progress, and I'm thankful.
I did write letters and ask for forgiveness, and I wrote the letters to my son, my sisters and brothers, and my parents, and I asked for forgiveness while I was incarcerated before I stepped out of the prison doors. And now I have a relationship with all of them, and we, get along. There's, like my son,
He's 15 years old, but there's still a little struggle because once I stepped out, I can't just step in and take over. My mom's always been there for him. So we're still, but it's a relationship. I mean, it might not be where I want it, but it's happening now.
One of the hardest things for me is not being with my children. I still don't have my children back into my life. I'm battling that out in court, and my kids are in another state. So in the 4 years that I've been home, I've seen them maybe 3 times for a total of 3 days. There's so many times where, a mom thinks about her kids 24/7. There's not a day that goes by that I don't miss them and want them here. And I'm gonna cry, but they're just always on my mind. And to deal with that sober has been really challenging. But I say to myself that the end result is gonna be so worth it. You can't go back to the old way of life because it just drew you further apart from them. So every day or any time that I do think about drowning out the pain, I always say, I put my kids in one hand and the drug or whatever in the other hand. And now that I have a clear mind for the first time in years, I'm always going to choose my kids. So I fight to stay sober for them.